thought it was time to, y'all needed some help with this demo. It's my beginning ceramic, guys, so you can see what's going on. I know some of you have done this and understood it. A couple others of you have not quite yet done that, and that's okay. So I'm going to give you guys an extra chance to catch up before we move on from this assignment, because I don't want you to fall too far behind, because everything's going to, in the end, is going to matter what you do and what you don't do. So, there, that's better. So our first assignment was texture samples. I asked you to do 8 and draw 8 boxes on your paper. And look at your items and draw them as a line drawing pattern, okay? So, some of you understood this. You can see here are my patterns. Some of you didn't quite get it. So let's go over the first part before we move on to the second part. So, this here, zoom out. This is an object in my house. I keep our medicine on it, on the counter in the kitchen. Okay, so this is a basket. I'm not going to sit here and, oh, here's my basket. Okay, and call it a day. I don't really care about what the whole basket looks like. Okay, so X that out. What I do care about is this pattern. I want you to draw the texture, which ends up being this pattern. The way this is woven is a texture. I can feel it. It looks like a texture. Okay. So as I look at it, I can see it's kind of broken up into stripes. Some are that way. And then some are this way. Okay. But it's not just a chevron print, y'all. It's more than that. If you look, we need to figure out how these run into each other, because this just looks like a chevron print. So this one's going to go to here. Now I'm getting it. One of these lines extends further than the other. Erase this line. I don't need that anymore. And then this one's going to go to here. So that's the way my chevron print looks. Okay. So probably this other row would come like that, and then there'd be another one that would come here. That's my herringbone pattern, and I would label this kitchen basket. Okay. I want the texture, not the object. Some of you are just finding objects with texture and drawing them. Like, oh, here's this cup. If I feel it, there's actually, this pattern is textured on it. I'm not just going to draw this cup like this. That's not really what I'm looking for. Okay? Wrong. I want the texture on it, and that's actually what this is here. Oh, okay. So hopefully that first part is clear. I am looking for you to draw different textures. They're line drawings, and they become patterns. Break it down. Break it down into a pattern. Fill the box as well. Okay? That's part 1. Now, the second part of this exercise was to pick 4 from this. So you need to do this first. And then you're going to figure out how you would make a stamp out of them. So texture samples become texture stamps. So I took my lamp, and these ovals here on my lamp, they actually pop up. Okay, so you can feel them. It's raised off the surface. This black part is a hole through it, and then this part here is like level. So I thought I would make a stamp of this oval. Here's the front view of my stamp, and this is the side view. If I were to actually create this stamp, I have my handle, what would it look like if I were to stamp it into some clay? This here, this is my clay. If I were to stamp this in there, it would end up doing this on my clay. Okay, clay. I even made a stamp. So you can see, here's my stamp where I would hold it, the handle. I carved in this part of the circle or the oval. So if I were to stamp this onto clay, these parts that are raised are going to push down on the clay and leave this oval high. This isn't dry enough. I can't actually show you how to do that. Okay? So I want you to think about how you would take these, and if you made them into an actual stamp to press into the clay, which one day this might come back to you, those of you that are continuing in intermediate, or if we come back this year, this may happen. So really think about it. That one I was just doing, that herringbone pattern. Okay, so I redrew my herringbone pattern to look like it is here. And I tried to figure out what I needed. So if I wanted these flat parts raised, and I wanted, like if I were to take a piece of clay, yes, I have clay at the ready. I am in my own house, okay? And in the end, I wanted my clay to have this pattern on it. Okay? How would I make a stamp to be able to do that? So I would need something that has these lines raised up so that they would be able to push down into the clay. Okay? Like here, I don't know if you can see it very well. This is my stamp that I made for when I stamp my artwork. Kind of see it looks like that. Okay. So where it says MJB, those are raised. So if I were to push this into my clay, where it says MJB, that part is actually indented now into my clay. It's not flat. If you touched it, it goes down into the art because I lowered everything else around it. It's kind of a reverse. It's hard to do. Okay? I'm not saying this is an easy thing, but you guys are smart and I know you can do this. It just is going to take a minute for you to sit and think. If I want it indented in the clay, in my stamp, it has to rise out. Okay? So I don't even know if this will work. Ooh, it did kind of work. So see what it did? So where I indented here, you can see it's raised here. Where it's raised on my stamp, it's indented in my clay. All right? I made this morning, so I guess it's sort of dry now. So you need to think about what is going to be raised and what is going to be lowered in your stamp. So it's easy if you have simple patterns. Okay, do this first. then do your stamps. I'm asking for side views or details because if I look at this, I'm not understanding which you want raised and which you want lowered. Okay, this just looks like 3 circles to me. I need you to think about what it's going to look like from the side. This is my preference if you can do it this way. Okay, if you can't explain it in words, then draw it, then explain it. Okay. Please let me know if you have any more questions. All right. I miss you.